leaders and things are falling apart.
Hey everybody, this is a massive argument here between Professor Sayed Morandi and Piers Morgan. You know, the only thing that's interesting is how Professor Morandi gets a great internet signal, but no one else in Iran gets any kind of an internet signal. So let's hear what he has to say.
3 times, what do you think about an ethno-supremacist regime? And you refuse to answer. But the fact is that the United States is doing all of this and destroying the global economy for an ethno-supremacist regime to preserve that. But if they're really worried about the U.S. economy and the world economy, then why don't they just open the strait and take out the oil and take the country, and we'll all be refugees like the Palestinians, where you kicked them out of their homes in 1948?
I mean, President Trump has indicated that's exactly what he may do if there's no deal.
Well, that's because the West is led by monsters, and you are friends with those monsters, ethno-supremacists and
well, look, to be honest with you, look, you know what? You do this, like we have a perfectly civilized conversation, and then you can't resist. Hang on.
You said SHIT.
You can't resist.
SHIT.
Yeah, and you can't. What you can't resist doing is putting your fake halo on your head and pretending that you yourself do not help prop up a monstrous regime. You talk about, America has to be held accountable for killing people. What about Iran's regime, which for 47 years has killed so many people, not least its own people, as we saw in January? Should they be held accountable for that? Would you like to see your regime held accountable for the thousands of protesters it killed in January, for the Americans it's killed, for the Israelis it's killed, for the way it's propped up Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, to cause endless terrorism all over the Middle East? Would you like your regime to be held accountable for that monstrous activity?
Piers, first of all, you used that word that I won't repeat, and that's exactly how you like to frame things. You started insulting Iran, and I gave you a much more civilized response. You said SHIT.
No, I didn't.
That's not how I heard it.
I didn't.
That's not what you said.
Sorry, just to be clear.
Okay, then I'm
at no
mistaken.
stage of this interview
then I'm mistaken.
have I said that.
Okay, then I'm mistaken.
Yeah,
then I'm mistaken. I thought you said. But first of all, I asked you to come to Iran. You could have seen what Iran is like.
I'm not going to come here. You haven't come either. So you know what?
Well, I've lived there. I've lived there, Piers. I've lived there. I've been there many times. I did my PhD there.
Well, there you have it. Arguments. We're gonna have some more later. Thank you for watching. Please support our channel.